tonight you're going to buy something you don't need. You already know it. You'll feel the pull anyway. And when it happens, you'll tell yourself a story about why it was different this time. It wasn't different. Your brain was never trying to save you money. It was trying to survive a world that hasn't existed for 10,000 years. Every purchase you regret starts the same way. A flicker of desire, a flash of justification, a tap of the thumb. You think you're deciding, you're not. You're following a script written by evolution, and companies have read that script more carefully than you ever will. Here's the glitch. Your brain didn't evolve to shop, it evolved to hoard, to compete, to signal status to a small tribe of maybe 150 people. It was built for scarcity, not abundance. Put that ancient wiring inside a modern mall and something breaks. Not you. The wiring. Consider what psychologists call the scarcity heuristic. When something feels limited, your brain assigns it more value automatically before logic even gets a vote. Researcher Stephen Worchel demonstrated this decades ago with a simple experiment involving jars of cookies. Fewer cookies in the jar, and people rated the exact same cookies as more desirable. Nothing about the cookies changed, only the number did. Your brain doesn't calculate value. It calculates threat, and running out feels like a threat. Now ask yourself, how many times has only 3 left in stock changed your mind about something you weren't even sure you wanted? That's not persuasion. That's a hijack. Go deeper, and you find the ancestor of every price tag you've ever glanced past. For most of human history, resources were unpredictable. Food today did not guarantee food tomorrow. Bodies that grabbed opportunity immediately without deliberation outlived bodies that paused to think it through. Impulse wasn't a flaw, it was a survival trait. You are descended from the grabbers, not the ponderers. But grabbing meat off a carcass and grabbing a discounted jacket you'll never wear activate the exact same reward circuitry. Dopamine doesn't know the difference between food and Wi-Fi-enabled cookware. It only knows that a chase just ended and the ending felt good. This is where the story gets stranger. Neuroscientist Brian Knudsen ran an experiment using brain scans while people made purchasing decisions. He found that anticipating a purchase activates the nucleus accumbens, the same pleasure center triggered by food and drugs. But seeing the price triggers something else entirely, the insula, a region tied to pain and disgust. You are quite literally wired to feel a small flash of pleasure and a small flash of pain in the same transaction. Which one wins depends on how the choice is framed. And framing is not an accident. It's an industry. Think about that for a second. An entire industry exists to shift the balance between your pleasure circuit and your pain circuit. Not to inform you, to tip the scale. Now walk into the twisted experiment that changes how you'll see every checkout counter for the rest of your life. In the 1990s, researcher Dan Ariely ran a study using subscriptions to The Economist. Readers were given 3 options: a web-only subscription for $59, a print-only subscription for $125, and a print plus web bundle, also $125. Almost nobody chose the print-only option alone. It seemed pointless next to the bundle. But when Ariely removed that useless middle option entirely, something remarkable happened. Most people who had chosen the bundle now chose the cheapest option instead. The middle choice wasn't there to be picked. It was there to make something else look like a bargain. Your brain doesn't judge value in isolation. It judges value by comparison. And whoever controls the comparison controls the decision. That's not persuasion. That's architecture. Which brings you to the modern trap, the one hiding inside every app on your phone right now. Retailers know your brain overvalues scarcity, so they manufacture it artificially. Countdown timers that reset the moment you refresh the page. Only 2 seats left at this price. On booking sites, appearing on flights with hundreds of empty rows. limited drops that aren't actually limited, just paced to feel urgent. None of this is illegal. Most of it isn't even hidden. It works anyway, because knowing about a bias doesn't switch it off. Awareness lives in your prefrontal cortex. The scarcity reflex lives somewhere older, somewhere faster, somewhere that doesn't wait for permission. Free shipping thresholds exploit a different glitch entirely, one behavioral economists call loss aversion, first mapped by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. Their research found that losses feel roughly twice as painful as equivalent gains feel good. So when you're $4 short of free shipping, your brain doesn't calculate, I could save $4. It calculates, I am about to lose something I already deserve. You add an item you never wanted just to avoid a loss that was never real to begin with. The $4 you saved cost you $12 you didn't plan to spend. Nobody forced you. Nobody needed to. Subscription models exploit a third glitch, the endowment effect. The moment you start a free trial, part of your brain treats the product as already yours. Canceling doesn't feel like avoiding a cost. It feels like giving something up. That's why free trials converts so well, and why so many of them quietly renew into charges you forget about until the statement arrives. Here's the part that should unsettle you most. None of these companies are inventing new weaknesses. They are simply the first to take your ancient survival instincts seriously enough to build a business model around them. Every limited time offer is a tribute to the scarcity reflex that once kept your ancestors fed. Every free trial is a quiet exploitation of an ownership instinct that once helped early humans defend territory. The trap isn't new. Only the wrapping is. So what do you do with that? You can't switch off dopamine. You can't rewire loss aversion by willpower alone. But you can do something almost as powerful. You can slow the gap between impulse and action. Researchers studying decision fatigue have found that even a short delay, as little as 72 hours, dramatically reduces impulse purchases because it gives the slower, deliberate part of your brain time to catch up to the fast, ancient part that already made the decision for you. That's the whole secret. Not more willpower, more time. So the next time you feel that pull, that tiny electric certainty that this purchase is different, remember what's actually happening. It's not a flaw in your character. It's an ancient survival system running in an environment it was never designed for, being expertly steered by people who studied it far more closely than you ever have. Tonight, you're going to want to buy something you don't need. This time, you'll know exactly why. And knowing won't stop the feeling, but it might just buy you the 72 hours you need to stop the click.